If deuterium overload is something that is concerning you, I have a treat for you. During my recent interview with Serpanos, he shared with me what he's doing to safely remove deuterium from his body, and I want to share that with you so that you can regain your health and start living your best life. Enjoy! Can we repair these damaged mitochondria if we deplete deuterium from our bodies, or do we need to rely on other modes of healing like fasting and to increase the autophagy or something like that?
Okay. Now, there are ways to actually increase the healing.
Okay.
So we can actually affect certain enzymatic pathways, CAPTA1 and CAPTA2. So we can take, like, let's say you're fasting or you're doing time restricted feeding. Early in the morning, you can actually have about a gram, slightly, I usually try and do about 0.9 grams of leucine. You combine that with citrulline or arginine, and what happens is with a couple of grams, like 2 or 3, and you upregulate the certain organelles inside the cells that actually do a lot of the repair, the organelles that get the ATP from the mitochondria to do the repair. So there's a number of them, and they actually will go through and actually do a lot of the repair and improve the cell's viability, reduce the senescence of the cell, and also so that's the one side to actually heal the actual cell, and on the other side to actually heal the mitochondria. We produce inside the mitochondria, or the mitochondria produce their own melatonin. One of the key cofactor requirements for those enzymes to work properly is taurine. So this is where a taurine comes in that can actually help that. So you reduce with the deuterium-depleted protocol. Now, that's an expensive approach, as you know. Deuterium-depleted water is very expensive.
Yes.
And I usually say to people, what's your health worth? Or you can basically accept that I can't do that, but I'll do it another way. I will increase my intake of animal fats. I will severely cut out everything else that is high in deuterium, which is pretty much all the sugars. So no fruit, no nothing, none of that. You go really strict, and you look at things like, in particular, really important, certain foraging pigs, not grain-fed pigs, but foraging pigs are a good option for the lard, because it's going to be very low. For some reason, foraging pigs have got some of the lowest levels of deuterium in their fat. So they're sort of the best sort of fat to be able to use. It takes a number of years because you've got the cellular turnover and stuff like that, but you will eventually lower the deuterium levels. Now, if you've already got to a cancerous state, then really, you know, you got to bite the bullet and accept the high cost of deuterium depleted water to try and bring those levels down really quickly, and then heal the mitochondria with taurine and with a species appropriate diet, obviously, to not to cause any future damage, obviously. So that's the sort of approach that I would sort of take. Try, and when you do take early in the morning, so when I wake up early in the morning, the first thing I do before I even brush my teeth or do anything, I just go and have my leucine and my L-citrulline, the 3 grams, pop that in, and I restrict my intake of anything up until about 11, 12 o'clock at work. My window of eating is pretty much can shift to 8 hours for social reasons, but usually it's about 6 hours. And I sort of try and actually maximize that intake. And because I'm also healing, I had cardiovascular disease, as Pim knows, and many of my subscribers know. And for me, I had a lot of damaged mitochondria because for a long time I consumed heaps of seed oils. I cooked everything in seed oils, and I thought they were heart protective and all this because that's what we were sold. And ended up having cardiovascular disease in my mid 40s from the damage that both on the deuterium side and on that other side. And when I did rapidly lose weight on keto, I did a lot of damage to myself because I released so much stored deuterium in my adipose tissue, because of ignorance, pretty much. It's
Would you
possibly
say
one
if someone
reason.
is losing a lot of weight, should they also try to take leucine and L-citrulline and taurine?
Yep.
to try to
And
counter
and
the
and
damage.
try and up the and yeah, and try and up their fat to dilute the level of deuterium. More ideally, if they're coming on, if they've had very high exposure to deuterium, even to consider a small short-term protocol of deuterium-depleted water as well. So that in order to arrest that, because I've had a number of people who have ended up losing rapid weight, ending up with all sorts of really funny symptoms, and it's really that they've actually released so much deuterium into their system that it's actually caused them all sorts of health problems like brain fog, stiffness, because they've put too much deuterium into their collagen structures. And it's created stiffness for them. They're going, I just lost weight and I feel really stiff. Well, that's all the deuterium you've just released from your adipose tissue. Because were you consuming a lot of seed oils in the past, like vegetable oils, or a lot of processed food that had a lot of vegetable oils like most people do today? And they go, yeah. I go, well, that's what's actually caused it. You've just basically given your mitochondria toxic overload. Oops.
Oops.